Assalamu alaikum everyone. Uh, I am Tokir Malik Rao. The topic of my presentation is numerical modeling of a tuberculosis transmission dynamics on SLIR, which is supervised by Professor Dr. Muhammad Azizur Rahman. These are the content of my presentation: abstract, introduction, equilibrium points, numerical model, numerical experiment and simulation, conclusions, references. Abstract. This article is devoted for a numerical study of susceptible latent infected recovered SLIR epidemic model of a tuberculosis disease dynamics. The model is solved numerically with three different numerical techniques: forward Euler, RK4 techniques, the proposed non-standard finite difference techniques. The proposed NSFD techniques become more efficient and reliable numerical techniques than forward Euler and RK4 techniques. NSFD techniques retain all essentially characteristic of continuous SLIR tuberculosis epidemic model, like positivity, stability of equilibria, while well-known forward Euler and RK4 techniques cannot sustain these characteristics. Furthermore, the proposed techniques is independent of time step size, while forward Euler and RK4 depend upon the time step size. The numerical simulation with the aids of a numerical test is presented for a validation of all traits. Introduction. Tuberculosis is a dreaded bacterial infection. It has been recognized by mankind since ancient age. It was once of a times known as the consumptions at the flip of ultimate century due to the fact of a way of ailment regarding to consumes the man or woman is affected. Feb 24, 2012, tuberculosis obviously received its title from Latin phrase tuber, which is plant's period of underground shape comparisons of a strong or adjusted outgrowth of a stem of noteworthy or considerable less adjusted designs that bear eyes or birds from which new vegetation also merge. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease caused by the bacterium Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium is carried in air particle droplet nuclei. TB is one of the oldest records humans and animal diseases. It has been in animals before the existence of the human species. The rate of tuberculosis case in many countries of sub-Saharan Africa over the past decade is largely attributed to human immunodeficiency virus (HIV) and other emerging infections. In order to efficiently control and prevent infectious diseases like the TB, one has to be adequately informed about the mechanism of a spread and transmission dynamics of a disease. This will help our predictions and our strategies to eliminate the diseases. The study of epidemic dynamics is an important theoretical approach to investigate the transmission dynamics of infectious diseases since they describe change over time. From different analyses and numerical simulation, mathematical models can is often used as a tool to understand to spread infections, diseases, and how to control it. Mathematical models developed for a transmission of a tuberculosis are numerous. In this paper, the effect of vaccination and treatment on the transmission dynamic of TB was analyzed. The endemic equilibrium state of a model using the basic reproduction number show that TB can is effectively controls or eradicated if the total removal rate from both the latent and infectious class is usually less than the product of a total contractions and total breakdown of susceptible class. Their model was basically addressing mainly vaccinations and treatment as a way of controlling the spread of TB. SLIR tuberculosis compartment here four compartment. S stand for susceptible, L stand for latent, I stand for infected, and R stand for recovered. Susceptible humans enter into the population at the rate capital alpha. Susceptible humans become latently infected at the rate theta, exit from susceptible compartment, enter in latent compartment. Susceptible humans become infectious at the rate beta, exit from susceptible compartment and enter into an infected compartment. Delta is a disease's death rate and alpha is an individual recovery rate. Exit from infected compartment and enter in recovered compartment. Latently infected become infectious at the rate gamma. Exit from the latent compartment and enter into the infected compartment. The men who are lost immunity and return in susceptible compartment from recovered at the rate tau. And here is a mu is a natural death rate. Exit entire compartment. These are the parameters I will explain in the previous slides. These are the model of our differential equations. Equilibrium points divides into two categories. First is equilibrium points, and second is endemic equilibrium points. These are the disease-free equilibrium points. And next is the endemic equilibrium points. These are the endemic equilibrium points. Basic reproduction number is a very important to analyze the transmission of an infectious diseases. If the are not less than one, then diseases will die out. Then infections become diseases free equilibrium, means no epidemic. If are not greater than one, then diseases will continue into the population, mean epidemic occur. Numerical model. Non-standard finite difference numerical model. We propose an unconditionally convergent non-standard finite difference NSFD numerical model, which is based on the non-standard finite difference model theory proposed by the Makins. These are the main result of a non-standard finite difference method, and these are the convergence analysis of a non-standard finite difference method. And these are the then this is the convergence analysis of Jacobi. Numerical experiment and simulation. Latent graph of Euler show oscillation as well as the negative behavior. Small step size when h is equal to 0.5. Infected graph of Euler show oscillation and negative behavior with a small step size when h is equal to 0.5. But the latent graph of NSFD show convergent at a small step size when h is equal to 0.5, and infected graph of NSFD also show convergent at a small step size when h is equal to 0.5. And next is a latent graph of Euler show the divergent at a small step size when h equal 1. Infected graph of Euler show divergence at a small step size when h is equal to 1. But the latent graph of NSFD show convergent with the same step size when h is equal to 1. An infected graph of NSFD also show convergent at a small step size when h is equal to 1. Next is a latent graph of RQ4 show oscillation and negative behavior at a small step size when h is equal to 0.81. Infected graph of RQ4 also show oscillation and negative behavior at a small step size when h is equal to 0.81. But the latent graph of NSFD show convergent at a small step size when h is equal to 0.81. Infected graph of NSFD also convergent at a small step size when h equals 0.81. Next is a latent graph of RK4 show divergent at a small step size when h equals 1. Also, infected graph of RK4 show divergent at a small step size when h equals 1. but the latent graph of an SFD show convergent at a small step size when age equal 1. Infected graph of an SFD show also convergent at a small step size when age is equal to 1. Next is a latent graph of NSFD show convergent at a large step size when age equal 100. Infected graph of NSFD show convergent at a large step size when age is equal to 100. Latent graph of NSFD show convergent at a very large step size when age equal 1000. Infected graph of NSFD show convergent at a very large step size when age equal to 1000. Conclusions: in this thesis, an accurate and reliable numerical solution of tuberculosis epidemic model is provides with the help of non-standard finite difference method. The proposed method preserves all important properties possessed by tuberculosis epidemic models. We show the efficacy of this method. The comparison of proposed method is made with the forward Euler method and RK4 method. It is concluded from the simulations that both classical well-known techniques fail to give accurate solution even at a very small step size. These are the references. Thank you so much.